all good. Okay.
Oh my god, that is very loud.
Welcome to another episode of Let's Rewatch, the show where we watch movies from our youth and find out if they're still any good. I'm Bret.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Ash. Wait a minute. Where's Nick?
Well, guys, all good things can't last forever, and sadly and happily, Nick has moved on to bigger and better things. But do not fret, we're still continuing on with our awesome tradition of childhood movie watching, and we're gonna try to keep this going and be good.
Yeah, but we should probably have, someone else on the show.
Yeah.
What's that over there on the couch? Patrick? Are you still here?
Oh yeah, I live here now.
Oh my god!
On the couch.
Wow.
Perfect timing. Because maybe do you wanna fill in?
Yeah. What are we doing? The movie thing.
It is a podcast. Yeah, we do it every other week.
Cool.
I thought you listened to it. Maybe.
Oh,
that's his white noise machine.
Yeah, I mean, I live here now on the Let's Rewatch couch in the studio, so I might as well help out.
Well, welcome to the show, Patrick.
Hey, I feel really weird as a host. I feel a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Do you? Does it feel different?
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Well, I mean,
they can't see your hands, Patrick. It's okay.
we're all splitting the lesser title of co-host.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah.
But no, thank you guys so much for inviting me to join. I really, obviously, I've had a lot of fun the times I've been on, and if I'd like to take a quick minute to address the listeners, if that's all right with you guys, just me
all right.
and them.
We'll stand over here then.
All right. Okay, listeners, come on over here. Come on, take a knee, champ. Look, I know you miss your Nick. I like Nick a lot. And I just want to be real clear that I in no way am trying to be your new Nick. I understand how important a Nick is in every listener's life. I didn't have a Nick growing up, but I can be your Pat, okay? And hopefully I'm going to try really hard to be the best Pat for you that I can be. Okay, bud? All right, get on out of here. And I toss all the listeners' hair.
How many times have you had to give that speech?
He's been practicing.
I've had a lot of my toddler is really entering that age of the defiance, and you kind of have to take them aside and have the chats.
All right, well, let's do the show, guys.
Oh, all right.
It took me all of 5 minutes to derail. I'm like a penny on a railroad track. Just bam.
Well, this week we're going to watch Last Action Hero from 1993 because I love action movies.
Oh, yeah, because we missed it for Thanksgiving, our tradition.
Yeah.
Of watching action. It just didn't fall correctly this year. Well, we also didn't get our shit together.
The clip show. The clip show.
The clip show. It sounds a little dirty when you say the clip show. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah.
Ew, what? Why?
I actually don't get how that sounds dirty. But
Yeah, I don't get it. like toenail clippings?
You have like a weird
show?
clipping fetish, Ash?
You
Don't kink shame.
weirdos.
Don't kink shame. Sex positive. We're sex positive here.
Yeah. That could be somebody's thing.
I guarantee it is. Everything is somebody's thing.
On that note.
Who has seen this movie, Last Action Hero?
Me.
Not I.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
Not you, Ash? Yeah.
No.
There's probably a good reason for that, and that's because it released the same week as Jurassic Park.
Whoa,
sorry. Yeah,
that is so unfortunate for them.
Really? The same week?
Yeah.
There's no way that went well for Last Action Hero. No way. But at that time, movies did stay out in theaters for a really long time. Like, I remember it came out, and I think it came out at the end of the year. And then in February, Jurassic Park was still in theaters. It was in theaters for 4 or 5 months. So,
yeah, well, I mean, it's one of the best movies of all time, so.
Yeah. So I imagine once everyone was done seeing Jurassic Park for a third and fourth time, maybe they went and saw Last Action Hero.
Yeah,
Maybe. Is it Arnold?
It is Arnold.
Arnold is kind of like a big dinosaur in his own way.
Oh, don't be hating on our Arnold.
I'm not. I meant that as a positive.
I mean, I could see the marketing if they're thinking maybe there wouldn't be too much. Because I don't remember. Obviously, now we know Jurassic Park was this massive hit. But did they know it was going to be a phenomenon when it first came out? I mean, I could see,
that's a good point.
Yeah, I guess at the time they just thought, Steven Spielberg is making a fucking dinosaur movie. Like, who's that guy?
I think wasn't the book pretty popular, the Michael Crichton book? So I would assume that they anticipated it being pretty successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like, well, I was doing a little research on this movie, and it kind of seems like everybody thought that it was doomed from the beginning.
Oh, really?
Wait, Last Action Hero or Jurassic Park?
Last Action Hero.
I don't think Last Action Hero was a book.
Okay, so now we know the truth. They put Last Action Hero up against Jurassic Park to guarantee its failure and to pin the badness of its box office on Jurassic Park.
Oh, maybe.
If there's a movie that was like the real life producers, reading about this, it kind of seems like it might have been this one. They spent a ton of money on this, and like Ben-Hur amount of money? Like it was on track to become one of the most expensive movies ever made at the time.
Oh, wow.
How?
Well,
what is in this movie?
It's just Arnold. He has a lot of needs.
Everything is an explosion.
There's a lot in this movie, guys. So this is directed by John McTiernan, who's Die Hard.
Oh, okay.
It's executive produced by Arnold, which is probably why it kept getting pushed forward.
Oh, so he got double paychecks.
But the list of people in this movie is ridiculous. And I know why it's ridiculous, and so does Pat. But it's Charles Dance from Game of Thrones, who was Tywin.
Yeah.
Ian McKellen. Danny DeVito is in this.
What? Danny DeVito?
Okay, Sharon Stone, Tina Turner, Jim Belushi, Chevy Chase, Jean-Claude Van Damme,
oh my god,
Damon Wayans, Tony Danza, Little Richard, MC Hammer.
Wait, is this like a concert movie?
Sylvester Stallone.
Do they go into different movies?
It's ridiculous.
Okay. I have so many theories here.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so is it such a bad script and such a bad movie that they packed it with this star-studded cast so that it wouldn't seem as bad? Yeah.
That seems to be what happened, like Arnold calling all of his friends.
Yeah.
Just like, please be in my movie, please.
Hey, this is Arnold, call me back.
You think Ian McKellen and Arnold were buddies? Hanging out?
Oh, I hope so bad.
Yes.
Or Arnold and Tina Turner?
Yeah. What? I think the only person missing from this cast is Patrick Stewart.
Seriously.
Yes.
But there's like a ton of people in this, and it goes off the rails, I think, pretty quick. But one of the big hints to what this movie is going to be like, these two guys, Zach Penn and Adam Leff, wrote the movie, and they said that they studied Shane Black scripts to try and get all the good action and comedic beats.
Wait, who's Shane Black again?
He was
he did Lethal Weapon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. We know how good his scripts are because that's how we started the Lethal Weapon episode.
So after they handed off their first draft of the script, they actually hired Shane Black to rewrite it.
What?
Wow.
And then fired Shane Black and had Carrie Fisher and William Goldman.
Wait, Carrie
Did you
Fisher?
say Carrie Fisher?
Yeah, Carrie Fisher was
a script doctor, right?
Yeah.
What?
And William Goldman, he's also like a really well-known screenwriter.
Oh, Princess Bride.
And that's all really good news. I mean, that bodes really well for the quality of the movie, right? Because we all know more writers equals better movie.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever your kitchen is not cooking, just add some more cooks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot. I mean, actors, writers, there's so many hands in this freaking pie.
Oh dear.
And
what was the budget for this film? The final.
I gotta look that.
It was a lot.
He does. So Sam and Ash, do you guys know anything about the underlying concept?
Nope.
Premise?
I kind of do, just because I watched like half of the trailer, because we were going to do this film one time and we didn't, or it was like on a movie poll or something that didn't get picked. So I watched half the trailer. So I have a theory, but I don't want to spoil it for Sam.
Yeah, I'm a fresh wee little babe with this. I know nothing.
Wee little babe.
So this number sounds small nowadays, but I mean, $500 million movies are a new thing. But this one is $85 million.
Jeez.
For 93.
I feel like in 93, yeah.
For something that flopped.
Yeah.
Opening weekend was 15 million.
15 million opening weekend?
Yeah,
now I really want to know what Jurassic Park's opening weekend was.
Oh, yeah. Let's find out.
The original one.
It just says all.
Jurassic World made
was like
133 million opening weekend.
Oh, that's not as much as...
That's like the full lifetime total of Last Action Hero.
Yeah. Oh, poor Last Action Hero.
Which I'm going to be controversial here. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. I have positive memories of this movie. So...
Oh, okay. Yeah, start us off with your...
I remember
memorabilia.
I've seen it. I saw it a number of times as a young lad, and I remember enjoying it thoroughly, unironically. I mean, I was too young to understand irony at the point when I saw it, but I remember liking it. And I guess a lot of I can't go into too much, because if you guys want to go in more real cold on the premise, I can't what it's trying to do and what the point of it was. But I remember liking it. I'm going to go on a real limb here and say I think it's going to hold up to be I'm not going to say it's a cinematic masterpiece or anything, but I think it's going to be very entertaining.
It's like a substitute.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Well,
yeah.
I like The Substitute.
Oh, we do too.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a little better than The Substitute, I hope.
Well,
I mean,
I think I agree, because again, I think it's going to be much more aware than The Substitute was, or self-aware.
Yeah.
I think The Substitute takes itself very seriously.
yes, it does.
Yeah, that's true.
So when I started talking about this movie, I thought it was like straight action. And now, based on Patrick's comments...
Oh, no. All right. Zipping.
I'm... No, not these comments before. I'm suspecting that there's a fantasy element in it, almost like Total Recall. Ooh. So now I don't know what to think at all, because I was expecting like straight up something like The Substitute, a lot of action, like explosions, guns, and now I'm like, wait,
From my theories, I think you're going to love this movie.
Me?
I'm going to put that out there.
Okay.
I think Sam's going to love this movie. I hope that I love this movie, because if the premise is what I think it is, it's pretty great.
Okay, I love
what I think it is.
I love bad movies. I'm just going to throw that
out.
It is true.
We spent the weekend watching The Princess Switch.
Oh, it's real bad, guys.
What is The Princess Switch?
Oh, okay, so it's Netflix's version of like a Hallmark Christmas movie.
Oh, God.
It's real bad. Vanessa Hudgens
Hutchinson?
Something? Yeah, that girl does a really bad British accent and plays her double. And I've only made it halfway through because I had to keep pausing it to like go get more Christmas decorations. But it's fucking magical. Not as good as The Christmas Prince.
I still haven't seen that, and I would really like to watch that while we make Christmas cookies.
Let's get hella drunk and watch it. I was saving Love Actually to watch with you.
Oh, yes, that's true.
But I digress. I love bad movies, and if this is bad, I'm going to probably love it.
So this year, this 93 was an interesting year too for Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger. As far as his work, the other big movie that came out for him that year was Dave.
What?
Dave? I don't know if
Apparently
I've seen
he's in
that.
Dave. Yeah.
Wait, what's Dave?
I remember him being. He played himself, I guess. That's the one with Kevin
His
Kline.
self-named Dave.
Kevin Kline is the president in a coma and also a lookalike standing in as the president or something.
Oh.
And then he was also in something in 93 called Beretta's Island.
Well, that does not sound good.
IMDb, it's a one-sentence description, and it says, it's the most Schwarzenegger synopsis ever. An Interpol agent fights drug dealers in Europe and America.
Oh my God, that sounds so Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
I want to watch that. It sounds awful.
So I wonder, is Beretta, like, it's his gun of choice, or that's his name? Oh, no.
Yeah, does the gun own the island?
No, but he's not even. Oh, he plays himself in that too. It's just
Yes. Just
I'm imagining
cameo
a
after
whole,
cameo.
like Rihanna Under My Beretta version, but with Arnold Schwarzenegger music video.
in Beretta's Island. He's on the cover. He plays himself. It says, and someone named Franco Columbu is Franco Armando Beretta.
All right.
Wow. Well, I'm glad we're watching Last Action Hero today and not that one.
I don't know. Let's watch this one instead. A solid 2.9 stars. Nice.
Hey, the stars cannot be, especially if that's an IMDb star.
No, that's for Beretta's Island,
okay.
not for Last Action Hero.
I feel like IMDb stars are basically meaningless.
Yeah.
They're arbitrary. It's okay. It always keeps you guessing and on your toes.
So I have a theory of what I think the movie's about, and I really hope, and it's based on the people that you said are in this film. I feel like that's what the movie's going to be about, and I'm pretty excited. And I hope it's a really good bad movie.
Yeah, I'm bringing this one because I also remember it, like Patrick, being pretty enjoyable, but like trying to think back on exactly what happens in this movie in like a story sense, I actually don't know at all.
No, I don't know if that's a good sign.
And I think this movie was built like on the premise of like, what if we had just an action movie where there were just as many Arnold one-liners as possible, and like they just writing entire scenes for the purpose of the one-liner.
They think of the one-liners first, and then they build a
Yes.
scene around that.
Oh,
Exactly.
dear.
In his contract that like every movie he's in has to have.
Yeah, I mean, he
one-liner.
executive produced this. This
Yeah.
is his moment.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't be
Brett.
surprised.
Oh,
Here's
no.
a super random factoid. Do you know how a lot of James Bond movies were made that way? Where
Really?
Really?
They'd scout the locales, like these exotic locales, where they'd have these big action set pieces, and then build scenes around, and then write the script around the locales.
Interesting. I mean,
Wow.
some of the Bond chases are really good.
Mm-hmm.
So can't knock that
Yeah.
too much.
I felt so bad for Brett the other night. We went out to a pizza place, and Brett was having to have, like, trying to have, like, a nice dinner and talk and everything. But there was a Bond movie playing in the background without the sound on.
Oh no.
And the whole night, I'm like, oh my God, Brett, turn around. He threw a naked woman out the window. Oh my God.
The
Which-
older ones are some of my favorite ones to just throw on in the background.
Yep.
The Roger Moore ones and the Connery ones, just in the
Yeah,
background.
the Connery ones.
Yep. It was
I
fun.
appreciate the campiness of the Moore ones, though.
All right, Brett, your thoughts.
All right. Oh yeah, those are my
was-
thoughts. Is
yeah.
Oh, Brett, or is Ash done?
What I'm expecting from this is that the script might be nearly unforgivably bad as far as like storytelling, but there's just so many. Like I still remember like a bunch of the one-liners from this, and they're some of my favorite of the full Arnold catalog. So I think overall I'm gonna enjoy this, but not for the normal reasons.
Oh no.
All right, well, I guess we're going to go and check out Last Action Hero. I do not know where you can find this movie, but
I looked it up. It's on Prime, iTunes, YouTube, and Amazon Video. Wait, that's
Okay.
Prime.
That's
Google,
like most
Google Play.
places.
Yeah, it was pretty available.
Well, there you
They're
go.
trying to recoup that money somehow.
Yeah, it's not like Willow where I had to frickin' pull 3 different rips from YouTube and then combine them into one complete movie.
Yeah.
Oh, do you have it now? I want to do Willow.
Yeah,
We will
I've got Willow.
pretend like we didn't watch it without you. We love you. It's okay. It's okay.
It's
That movie's so good.
I know. It's way better than Lady Hawk.
oh yeah, I'm sure.
All right.
All right, well, anyway, yeah, we'll be back in a few minutes with our thoughts on the second half.
So go ahead and stop the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, does anyone stop the podcast and watch the movie? Because I mean, I hope there's some people out there who are doing it with us. Comment and send us a tweet if you're actually pausing the show now and watching Last Action Hero, because you frickin' should. yeah, join us when we come back to talk about Last Action Hero.
That was perfect.
Yep, nailed it.
Nailed it. This is the AC/DC song. Explosion. Gunfire.
Oi.
Jack Slater.
Oi.
Perfect.
So, I'm just gonna come right out and say it. I think this movie only has one flaw.
Oh, wow.
That
Only
it
one.
Yeah,
Only one.
Only one. No, not that it exists. That it came out 25 years too early.
Yeah, you know, as I was watching this movie, I was like, this is the movie they should redo. Because
Yeah.
redoing this today would be so good.
Yeah.
I don't know who you would cast. I mean, I guess you just have Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It would
again,
just,
right?
it would still be
No, we could
Arnold.
rock.
Yeah.
It'd be Dwayne Johnson.
Oh.
Oh my
Yes.
god, yes.
Yeah, it
Yes.
would. That's its only flaw.
All right, that's a wrap on the show.
All right, podcast over.
I'm
Go
really
ahead.
curious to people who Ash and Sam who did not see it before. Just because I forgot to take notes. I was enjoying myself so much.
Oh, nice. I took lots of notes. I think it's hilarious, number one. Like, this
Yes.
movie is hilarious. If I were to point out a flaw, I mean, there's definitely flaws, but that's like part of the charm of the movie. But like, for me, the biggest flaw is this movie was like 30 fucking minutes too goddamn long. Like,
Yeah,
by the
for
time
sure.
they made it back in the kids' world, I was like, okay, guys, I'm kind of over it. Like, all right, let's wrap it up. And then it just
Yep.
keeps going. And I'm like, okay, now there's a new imaginary movie bad guy. Like, so here was my prediction from the little bit that I saw is I thought they were going to go into multiple movies. And I'm kind of bummed that they didn't because, and they kind of touched on it at the end because I feel like that would have been really fun. Like, you either stick with one or you go into multiple movies
Like,
throughout.
How funny would that have been if Arnold accidentally jumped into like a chick flick, you know?
Yeah,
And then he's
totally.
like, what do you mean there aren't guns in this movie? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
And he gets like all emotional or something.
He's doing the sign
just
for
feel-
Love Actually, but they're like, I'm going to shoot you
Yeah.
right through the eye. Like,
Yes.
I mean, they kind of had the signs with that bomb countdown.
Oh, yeah. I
of
did
his,
love, like, I absolutely love that they're like making fun of all the movie tropes. Like, that's brilliant. That is so brilliant.
But like I said, I think it was just a little too soon. So instead of feeling like, oh yeah, haha, remember that time, it felt like it was making fun of the genre because of how soon it came out after those movies. You know,
Yeah.
1993 was not that long after all of these popular movies came out.
no, it was right in the peak though of that because he
Yeah.
made like Eraser like a year or two after that, and that is a quintessential like Arnold action stereotype. He even like shoots an alligator at one point and says "your
Oh my
luggage,"
God.
like, and that was after he did this. So yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
I hear, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like a parody, doesn't it? Like, I was watching
Yeah.
it, like, especially the like Hamlet trailer in the beginning.
So good.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this
Yeah.
is amazing. This is like something I'd make, you know?
Did it before
Sam was
Tropic
busting
Thunder.
up laughing.
Yeah, well, so I had no idea. So like the whole opening happens and I'm like, oh my God, Bret, this just feels like a modern day parody of these action movies. And then it switched and he's like, that's exactly what it's trying to do, Sam.
Nice.
Well,
Like,
it's funny,
perfect.
and without the context, I feel like I've seen one of the early of the million car chases and gunfights, where the guy gets blown into like an ice cream truck and then an ice cream cone hits the guy.
Yes.
So I've seen that GIF on Reddit pop up a couple of times. Like, look at this most ridiculous. And it's like, you don't have the context of that whole, that's the point, is it's supposed
Yeah.
to be. And that's the thing with it is it's hard. I feel like it's hard, honestly, to poke too many holes because so many of the things that you might call ridiculous about this movie are that way intentionally.
Totally.
That was the point.
What did he say with the cone? He got iced to cone of
Yeah. And then like I love how the cars are like exploding before they even like hit things. Like the ice cream truck explodes. There's this one part where this car is like flying and about to impact something, and it explodes before it even
erupts
hits
in
the
flames.
wall.
It doesn't touch anything.
Yeah, it's so great. Like it's like they're obviously making fun of, you know, themselves and not taking it seriously. It kind of reminded me too of like it has a Roger Rabbit-esque vibe.
Yeah.
Where
it
it's
does.
like, here's this Looney Tunes crazy world where anything goes, you know.
Literally with the cartoon cop.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like the comedic timing on some of it is a little off. I think it could be even funnier, but like there's some great moments, like the moment where he's like, stay in the car. And he's like, but what if I die? And he's like, there's a gun in the glove box. And he opens the glove box and an excessive amount of guns fall out. Like, I laughed so hard. That was just brilliant.
I love the movie LA because if you noticed, everywhere they went had valet, even like the police station.
I laughed at that.
That's kind of what LA is, though.
Yeah. I like the Gatling gun in a minivan. It's just like so ridiculous. The whole thing.
My favorite line was in the Hamlet trailer where he's like, to be or not to be? Not to be.
Yes! That was so good.
That was my favorite part.
I love when, even in the beginning, he's like, you want to be a farmer? Here's some acorns. So cheesy and hilarious.
A couple of acres, yeah.
But I like how they even like make fun of Arnold in the movie because he's like, what, you're going to say I'll be back? Like you always say that. Everyone's waiting for you to say it. You shoehorn it into every movie.
Yeah, and that wasn't, this was 93, and then when was T2? Because that wasn't that, 91.
91.
2 years, that's it, just 2 years before.
Yeah, so
there's another movie he does it in it, right?
Oh, he says I'll be back a lot.
Yeah.
Well, it's right. He did say I'll be back in the first term, right? He said it both. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked the that he was avenging his second cousin because presumably they'd killed the rest of his family in the other movies.
I really liked that cousin. I loved the second cousin Frank, his like over the top death scene of like just overacting.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Art
It was
Carney.
great.
And then Charles Dance, what was he doing though in that movie? Just acting his face off.
Which guy was that again?
The bad guy.
Oh, Tywin.
Yeah.
Oh, he kicked ass.
He was pretty great.
Uh-huh. One of my notes, sorry, just says, yes, explosions.
I almost kind of wanted the bad guy to be like, oh, no one's coming after me after I killed this person. Well, this kind of ruins the fun, you know? Like, instead of him, like, it took this super dark turn when he's like, bad guys can win in this world. And I was like, whoa, social commentary.
I have killed a man.
I remember being a little, actually was because the whole watching action movies and you see people getting shot. That as a kid would actually made me more, I remember being more upset by the people mugging the guy and stealing his shoes. And he was weirded out, but I remember being like, yeah, they just, in New York, they just beat you up and take your shoes. And that's what they do in New York.
And to this day, you've never been.
I say that as someone growing up in Chicago too. Like, oh, New York is scary.
Can we talk about like the horrible fart joke? Like that was pretty bad though.
Yeah, that
was
part
pretty bad.
Wait, the whole plot line or specifically the La Brea tar pit?
The pull my finger.
Yeah, like all of it, like all of the fart jokes. The fact that it was in the plot was bad.
He was a good man, a flatulent man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Oh, God.
But again, that's the problem. Is can you criticize something for being dumb in the Jack Slater universe? Because that is the point. It's like they gave themselves
An out.
A free license
Yeah.
to just do the dumbest, tropiest stuff ever because, again, they can always fall back on, yeah, but that's the point.
Yeah, totally.
I think if this movie had a real big issue, it was actually that the kid. I hated the kid.
Oh, yeah. And he had that that 90s hair that so many...
The Jonathan
TV.
Taylor Thomas hair.
Oh, I never liked that. There's been a lot of things I've watched. The kid is always annoying.
And it's like his presence in the movie was kind of like they wanted to make a really jokey action movie, and then they were like, "Oh, but it's a kids film. Remember, here's a kid." And just every time he showed up, I was like, "Go away."
I feel like the kid gave them even more license to do dumb shit like fart jokes. I was like, "All right, it's a movie for kids. Got it." But it definitely wasn't great.
This is how those movies get made, Ash, is they say kids love fart jokes. No one loves fart jokes.
No, kids love fart jokes. It's really lame. They do.
Do you think it would have been better served if it had been an adult or a young adult or like someone in their 20s or who'd fallen
See, I
in the
think
movie?
there's a lot of really fun gags because he's a kid. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't do this in a movie today, but maybe you could, but the fact that the kid's like, all right, he's your new partner.
I love that.
So absurd,
Yeah.
And then he's like running around with a gun. Like, it's kind of hilarious.
But the adult that I would have wanted to see in this movie is Kevin Hart.
Oh.
He'll be in the one with The Rock.
He's hilarious.
Kevin Hart is hilarious. I think Ash is right. Like, it has to be a kid because kids love these types of movies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ridiculous for a kid to be in one of them,
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Like it just plays to the absurdity. Like, this whole movie is just like an absurdist film.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think they could have gone even more absurd with it.
Yeah. It's childhood wish fulfillment,
Yeah.
Like little kids playing their guns, taking down the bad guys, like wanting to be a part of these big movies.
Or I had a good chuckle at their meta commentary about all the women in the films, and then he like finally gets out into the real world. He's like, I've never just talked to a woman before.
Or like the kid's like, look at all the women. They're all beautiful. Where's the normal women? And he's like, it's California. It's like, no.
Yep.
Or even the 5. I mean, I thought the 555 number gag was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck does that kid know? There's only 9,000 blah, 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 blah numbers.
I don't know. Kids know weird random facts.
That's how the end of the numbers work.
Yeah, that's how school works, though. You probably just learned, they're doing how many in 4 digits.
I mean, have you ever taught a kid a random fact? They will not fucking forget it, and they will use it every chance they can.
Just test them on it, then they'll forget it after the test.
Yeah, that's true.
There was a real, like, I mean, this movie is absurd, but there was a real, like, reality moment that didn't work for me. Like, this kid is home alone, and somebody breaks into your house, like, assaults your child, and your kid is now at the police station, and you can't be bothered to leave work and go make sure your kid gets home safe? What?
Yeah, I'd completely...
that's America, man.
I think they were trying to set up that life was tough for them and they lived in a really dodgy area, and that wasn't the first time that had happened. Because
I just got like the mom literally couldn't leave work or she'd be like fired or something.
Yeah,
I'm sure too, like
but
financial hardship.
Well, not
But
even
did
the
you
mom,
notice?
the fact that the kid is like, this is an incredibly traumatic experience, and he's like, I'm worried about getting into this movie. And I actually had forgotten about. I guess that's the one I'd forgotten about that part. And the thing is, it does nothing for.
No.
Well, the only thing it did was it gave him the handcuff key, which felt really unnecessary. Like, it felt like you could have planted that a better way.
It could have been, and at first I thought it kind of was, just like a bully in the hall. Like, oh, there's this bully kid that lives in his same building and always like handcuffs him when his mom's not there.
Yeah,
and
he just
always
getting handcuffed left and right.
But then like he had a knife, and I wasn't quite sure, like, I don't know. I kind of thought they might go that way, but
I mean, who among us as a child did not either have a switchblade in your face or point a switchblade in someone else's face? I mean, come on. That's just normal Americana.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask if we had handcuffs, because that one, yes, I did have as a child.
Okay.
gross.
Well,
Nobody had like the play handcuffs.
Did you
for, like,
find them in your
toys?
parents' bedroom?
No. God, Sam. Damn. Fuck. Jeez. You guys didn't have like the play set handcuffs? Come on.
I had like a plastic pair.
Ash, did they have fur?
We're learning a lot about Ash's childhood.
Wow.
The only way they could have brought that back though was if Jack Slater and the world they run back into that guy and Jack Slater beats him up, the guy who attacked.
Oh
the
yeah,
kid.
yeah.
And that's what it kind of like in Neverending Story with the luck dragon at the end. Jason.
Yeah.
This
But,
is it's my biggest problem with the movie is exactly that thing, because right at the end I was just like, wait, it's over? Like, but nothing is better for anyone.
It's the same.
That's true, yeah.
Well, I guess the old man though, the old movie projectionist.
He's out of a
finally
job.
learned. Was he out of a job?
Yeah, the movie theater's closed at the end of the film.
Oh.
Arnold is now living in like a fake world, an existential crisis guy. And then the kid like had an adventure, but is just like fucking having a shitty life still.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, if you found out you were a fictional character and you were stuck in your fictional world, the protagonist would be the best. I mean, he's in the best spot to be aware of that because he knows everything is meant to work out for him and he can't die basically.
This is true. This is where he becomes the villain.
Yeah.
I did like in the beginning when they're driving in the car, the kid's like, I want to die. And Arnold's like, no, you're not. You'll be fine. Like, we don't die in these things. He kind of, calls himself out on that.
Was that the guy handing out the ridiculous team ups? Just I like how, by the way, that's I had forgotten about that, and that's a great gag. Just the two endless lines of ridiculous. I don't know if you caught in the background. He kept doing ridiculous buddy cop pairings.
Oh yes.
Where it's like you're with the digital black and white outline of Humphrey Bogart. You're with the cartoon cat.
You're with the rabbi.
Was that the same actor as the old guy who worked at the movie?
Oh.
I wondered that, actually.
Let's find
I
out.
can't remember. I couldn't quite tell.
Let's find out.
Also, I loved at the funeral that the nun had a gun.
Yes. That was so great. I love that they like all pull out weapons. It was pretty hilarious.
Uh-huh. And actually, the gag after the tar pit scene, when he's just like wiping tar off of him, like it's
I forgot. Yeah, I feel like they could have like done more gags like that. Like there's a good amount, but like they could have really. It kind of walked the line of like not completely being a comedy, and I feel like they could have pushed it over more.
Totally,
and been funnier. That was a good one.
We just watched OSS 117.
Oh God, so good.
It's so good. And there's a scene where like, he's fighting and like his hair's all, he just got out of bed and his hair's all messed up and he like puts his hand over his face and his head and then it swipes away and his hair is like perfect and manicured. I feel like they definitely could have put that joke in this movie.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, it's a brilliant concept, right? Like this idea of like poking fun of like action movies and the rules of action movies. And I feel like you could take it even farther and make fun of all. Well, I guess they've done that with the horror film with, was that
Cabin in the Woods?
Cabin in the Woods.
That was so good. I don't know if I feel like, I don't know if they were making fun as much as just kind of, I feel like Cabin in the Woods is an homage maybe. Or just, but no, I agree, Sam. It's definitely one of those ones I would love to see a retread. Or I wonder what's another genre that would be fun to do that too.
Fantasy would.
It'd have to be superhero movies. It would have to, which I feel like Oh no, never mind. I'm thinking of the Dark Tower series that kind of had a similar feel. But it would totally be superhero movies, like knock off Captain America, knock off Iron Man, and this kid's like in the superhero movie, and then brings them back to the real world, and they're like, "What do you mean? You can't just go shooting guns and blowing up buildings."
I kind of feel like that was already done. And it was a Marvel movie, and it was the first Thor.
I was gonna say that too. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Or do the opposite, where it's all the movies where you have kids or very, very young teenagers who band together to stop something, and they take on adults or criminals, and they somehow win. And then they come through, and you're like, "No, you're a child."
Yeah.
I'm thinking of
that's like the Robot Chicken version of the sketch.
I was thinking because of Incredibles. Like, my daughter loves the Incredibles movies. In both of them, mostly in the second one too, it's like they have their children going up against other evil superheroes. It's like, oh no, you would die real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even in the world of superpowers, probably the kids with superpowers are less powerful than the adults with superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys seen Maniac?
No.
Oh, they kind of do it a little bit with fantasy. And I think it could be really fun, to do with fantasy. But it does feel like action movie is a very specific movie genre. It's not like that's a book genre as well. You know what I mean? Like, I think this works really well because it's specifically a movie genre. So I feel like if you were to do it again and do it good, because I kind of feel like I've seen the superhero one. I kind of feel like I've seen the fantasy one.
You know which one is similar, but for fantasy would be Enchanted. Mm-hmm. The Disney movie where the princess gets sucked into the real world of New York.
Yeah. Well, there was another one like that too, where it was like a guy.
Oh, Kate and Leopold?
Yeah. It's like, I feel like I've kind of seen it. There was like a whole TV series too. I don't remember what it was called, where these like enchanted people came over to the real world in New York as well.
Yeah, it's a fine line to walk, though. I feel like the reason this one seemed to work pretty well is also because the genre that they're making fun of was already pretty tongue-in-cheek about itself.
Mm-hmm. Pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
already.
It's action movies are generally somewhat comedies. Mm-hmm. It's there's exceptions, but there's a lot of them that are pretty funny.
Yeah,
and I think it's easier to poke holes in that without offending the genre diehards than it is to just a fantasy one would be fun to see, but I wonder how much would be funny and how much would come off as just nerds.
True.
Well,
it's weird because I feel like it's before its time and it wasn't, because it was almost the right time, because that was peak of that type of movie being made in earnest. You're right in the heart of the Lethal Weapons, the Die Hards, all of Schwarzenegger's other library. Still, you're right there. But at the same time, had society gotten to that point where it's ready to be that honest and that self-deprecating or. Mm-hmm. What it reminds me of is a movie that I thought, or a show that I loved, that I feel would be great nowadays. Is did you guys just watch the Critic ever?
Oh yeah.
No.
I would.
You mean the show?
Yeah, the show, the animated show. He's a film critic. It's John Lovitz. I would love a reboot of that with today's Hollywood. And I just felt like that was another one that was kind of before its time. And just with the dissecting of tropes and fads and cliches in movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely works well with this genre because it's already a ridiculous genre. So I could see the Critic working well too today. Because I feel like tropes have almost gotten maybe worse,
Totally.
Or at least people are more aware of them.
Or it's, I feel like the new trope is the anti-trope, where you're purposely doing the opposite, but then that's
Yeah.
really obvious that you're purposely doing the opposite. So then what do you do again?
Yeah.
And are we on the verge of coming back around to just full sincerity and earnestness?
Yeah.
I don't know. That is a good question.
Side note, how did we decide on this movie? Because I really enjoyed this.
It was Bret.
Yeah,
Bret.
I've been pitching this for a while, and nobody was like super into it before. There were other Arnold movies and action movies to watch before this one. But yeah, I remember watching this when I was a kid, and it was just like just the one-liners. Like I still remember so many of them, and I was like, I need to share this with you guys. It's the core of, I feel like, Arnold. I think this is the Arnold movie.
The most Arnold movie, for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like,
It's great because he's like just making fun of himself and he like knows it.
Yeah, and there's also just this like really sweet charm about him and his character of like, yeah, guys, this is what I do and this is what I'm good at. And that's okay. Like, I don't have to be some big, like, cinematic actor. Like, this is what I do.
And then he became the governor.
Well, he's an extremely self-aware person. If I don't know if anyone here's, I doubt it. Pumping Iron, the documentary about him.
No, I haven't
Oh,
seen
I
it.
haven't seen it.
He's just, from day one, everything he's done, he started with like a mail order vitamin business. And that's how he made his first $1 million in Austria. And then he was into bodybuilding and all of that. But he's just always been a very, very, very self-aware person and conscious of like, what are his strengths? What are his weaknesses, playing to his strengths, and just in everything he's done, he's just kind of been really good about that. Like, I think he was had like a degree in psychology or something like that. He's very, and you can see it with like his choices of movies.
Yeah. He's kind of an interesting guy. For sure.
And it's funny because, like, I remember way back early 2000s, you know, he was promoting, like, Hummers, and he got them. He did a lot of work to, like, get them to be for commercial use and everything. And then he later came out and was like, I feel really bad about that, the environmental impacts and everything.
Aw.
So, like, I don't know. I just have a lot of respect for him. I like him. Like,
Yeah,
to
I mean-
be a guy in Hollywood and be able to admit that you were wrong, like, it's a big deal.
Yeah, and he wasn't a bad governor. I mean, everybody makes fun of him, but he wasn't bad.
That we know of. We were kids,
Okay.
so.
What?
I said we were kids. Like, he wasn't bad that we know of, but not catastrophic, I guess. Like, there aren't lasting things where, like, ugh, that Arnold, if he hadn't have been governor, you wouldn't have messed this up or that up.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in today's standards, I'm just rating him as a politician.
Yeah.
It's funny.
That bar's been set real low.
Yeah, I feel like so much, if not all, of my impression before I became a voting adult, and even so, I'm going to say in the last 6 to 8 years or so, or last decade. So I'm 33, almost 34. So even those first 4 years of being over 18, I don't know how plugged in I really was, but before that, my entire scope of the politicians of that time was only what my parents thought. It was just whatever they thought of what you think. So I always wonder how much of that, you know, was accurate, or if I'd think the same thing, if those were, you know, those are my governor, if that was my governor or my senator or my politician now, how I'd feel, if I'd feel the same or not. But because I feel like I can't have an opinion because I don't know. It's just, whatever mom and dad, they know. They know.
Yeah.
They say it's a bad
And
guy.
from
He's a
what
bad
I
guy.
remember being a kid, like, my mom and dad were like, oh my God, no, he can't be the governor, blah, 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 that's so bad. And then he was elected, and then, like, nobody ever talked about him again. That I remember.
That actually, I'm really curious now. What years was he governor?
I just looked it up. It was 2003 to January 2011. He was a governor for 7 years.
still making
2011?
movies.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah. He was absolutely making movies while he was...
Wait.
He
Oh, wait.
he
No,
was the governor
he
through my
wasn't.
whole
he wasn't.
college.
Wait, let me look. I was looking at the wrong
Wait,
IMDb.
that doesn't seem right.
A Terminator came out in the middle, and they put a CG version of him in it because he wasn't acting.
You're right. He did.
I thought he did do a few films while he was a governor.
Terminator 3 and came out in 03. Well, they wouldn't have filmed it, you know, because whenever Terminator 3 came out in 03. Around the World in 80 Days, he played Prince Happy.
Oh, yeah. That would have been pre-2000.
No, but there is a drought. There's 2005, The Kid and I. He plays someone named Arnold. But then that's it till 20. So, yeah, that's it till 20. So, no, he wasn't. Okay. Yeah, he's taking his job seriously.
So, wait. How long is... I have so many political questions now. He was the governor for 8 years?
7.
7.
He's a registered Republican. He's pro-choice, supports taxpayer-funded stem cell research, and supports same-sex marriage. I'm telling you guys, he was a good governor. He wasn't bad.
I can't believe that he was the governor through the entirety of my college career.
Yeah, I was going to say
He
when
was
you were
governor.
like, we were kids. And I was like, no, we weren't.
He was governor while Obama was president. What the fuck? Really?
Oh, he was governor while we were kids and young adults.
Yeah, I had no idea. So really, he did nothing egregious because nobody fucking talked about him as governor.
And he did a lot of like you were saying, I remember he was really active about you know, the God, now I can't think of the fucking word. When you care about the environment, he was active about like
Green.
you know, green and
Green
like,
policy, climate change, all that.
Yeah, I remember he was really pro that sort of thing and trying to make changes in California for the better for that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Really cooled off from 2000 to 2010. A decade. I mean, 7 of those years he was governor, but there wasn't much. Collateral.
Well, he was busy, man.
A lot to do.
Governating.
Okay, so final thoughts on the movie. Sam, you want to start it off?
I really enjoyed this movie. I definitely don't think it's a great movie. I'm on the fence as to whether it's a good movie or not, but it's a really enjoyable movie. It's really fun. It has its flaws, but I would watch it again. And it kind of counts as a Christmas movie because there's Christmas in the beginning when they're making fun of Die Hard, so...
Are you saying that Die Hard is a Christmas movie?
I know. Somebody made an argument to me, and I was like, fine, I get it.
Did you know that what's his name? Fuck. The main dude in that movie.
Bruce Willis.
God, I'm blinking on names today. Yeah. Bruce Willis doesn't think Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Yes, Bruce.
He's
Well,
a
Bruce
little
Willis
weird,
is not
though.
a Christmasologist.
Christmasologist.
I think I'm a Christmasologist because I celebrate Christmas, but I don't really. That's like the only thing attached to Christianity I think we celebrate is Christmas.
All right.
So did you like rewatching it, Patrick?
Yeah, it was. I think to Sam's point, it's not. No one's gonna call this a piece of cinematic art or anything like that. But it's an enjoyable to use. It's a movie full of cliches. So to use another one, it's an enjoyable popcorn flick.
Yeah. Candy film.
Yeah. I liked it too. I thought it was really fun. I just, at about the 2-hour marker, I was like, okay, this could be done now. Like, I feel like they already had this really big like action climax scene with the funeral, and I was like good with that, and I just felt sort of dragged out throughout the rest of the film, and the rest of the climax of the end of fighting the bad guy didn't feel as like epic as that. I was like, you already had the good ending. You can't top it anymore.
Well, there's 3 in a row back to back showdowns.
Exactly. It gets a little old. But I really liked it. And I think it would be a fun modern remake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I watching it again. I actually really liked watching it with Sam just because I feel like we could just not do this show and just have a Sam Reacts show.
Yeah. Film Sam while she watches.
It's very entertaining.
Do like a Twitch stream of her face in like the little window watching these movies.
Oh, that'd be great.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like something, Ash, you were talking about kind of is my opinion of this movie, which is you kept saying that you think they could have punched this up more, they could have punched that up more. And I think that's the big main drawback with this movie is it was like none of the things it could have been. It was so close to being like a really great comedy or like a pretty thrilling action movie. Or I don't even know if it got close to being a good kids movie, but
No.
it ended up being none of those things, which is probably why it's kind of fallen into even the back of the Arnold catalog, let alone, the general movie dialogue in general.
Yeah.
But man, I had a good time watching it today, and if it was shorter, it would be much better.
Well, thank you for listening to Let's Rewatch. If you like that, we've got a host of other content for you. There's a YouTube channel with a drinking show, video parodies, sketches. Oh, and I'm winging it here.
Keep going. First day, no pressure, no pressure.
All right. Good effort.
And other stuff.
I'm blowing it. You're blowing it, Bret. You're auditioning. Can we take that again? I feel like I need to get in the character a little better. Can we run that back?
But it was so good. Are we really doing it?
No.
I think we do. Yeah, I think.
I thought it was a bit. I was waiting for you to do something, Ash.
Okay. You're just so good.
Hey,
You're so good. So good.
The best bits are the ones that you have to explain.
Exactly. So yeah, if you liked this show, you can also follow us on Twitter. We're at LaughStashTV on Twitter, or we're at Let's Rewatch on Twitter. If you want to follow this podcast specifically, and we do fun stuff like movie polls, and I also tweet pictures of the movie to see if you guys can guess which we're watching. And right off the bat, we got like 3 minutes after I posted it. Roy on Twitter said, "That's Last Action Hero." Nailed it. But then also Dave Darling said Jack Slater 5, which was perfect. So good job, guys.
What still did you post?
It's pretty great. So it's him and the kid in the car driving, and there's like the minivan flying through the air behind them.
Awesome.
During one of the like beginning car chases. It was pretty awesome.
So if you liked our podcast, please give us a positive review on iTunes, Google Play Music, and now Spotify.
Yeah, I don't know how it works.
All right, we don't know how it works. We're on Spotify. You can find us. And
Wait, what do you mean you don't know how it works?
I don't know if you can actually review us on any of the platforms but iTunes.
Oh,
got it.
It's fine.
People
are reviewing, and it's
friend,
great.
Though.
And yeah, tell a friend.
Yeah.
Get your friends involved.
Caring.
We love it. If you are a new listener that Bret and I met at the Portland Film Festival, hit us up on Twitter so that we know you're listening.
Yeah, we haven't pitched our Twitters in a while. I'm Bret Eagles.
I have a name on
Sam
Twitter.
Doesn't know her Twitter.
Sam L. Wilson.
Sam,
I'm getting into Insta now, guys.
If you go on your Twitter is Sam L. Wilson.
Instagram, the best podcasting platform.
No, it's all pictures of cats and dogs. So,
do you remember when Instagram was like artsy pictures? And now it's like just the normal shit
the pictures from Facebook cropped to a square. It's great.
One giant platform. What's your Twitter, Patrick?
I am at the Pat Edwards, and I have the other social medias, but that's the one. That's important. That I'm most active. Instagram is very hit or miss. I'll go through a spurts here or there where I'll post some things. I think in words. That's why I like Twitter, because it's more word based.
Yeah, I think in pictures. That's why I'm cool with Insta. So there you go.
That's what they tell me.
And I'm at Ash's Stash. So yeah. Also, if you guys don't mind me pitching a thing really quick, but steal the podcast audience for a second. Come over here. Psst. I just recently started doing a course for LinkedIn Learning about YouTube. So if you're listening to this and you want to learn about YouTube, you can go to LinkedIn Learning or lynda.com and sign up and watch my course called YouTube Tips Weekly. And every Friday, they'll release a video. And the reason why I'm telling you guys about it is because it's also really funny. And I dress up as funny characters, including my own self. As Bret said, He was like, your future self is really judgy in the clips.
And to clarify, it's not just a course on YouTube. It's specifically a course on posting content to YouTube and
Being a YouTuber. And
being a YouTuber. So it's not like, go to a course to learn how to hit the play button. There's a lot of really good information.
Yeah.
Check out.
Basically, all the tips that I've gathered over the past 5 years of being a YouTuber that I don't find are easily to come by sometimes. So there you go. Come watch my show. Give me the monies by watching my show.
Yeah, just if your company has a LinkedIn thing, just load it up and just press play and use it and send the money Ash's direction.
Yay!
Can I do one quick thing?
Yeah.
So I have, as you've probably, if you listen to the show that I've guested on, episodes that I've guested on in the past, my book, Space Tripping's been out for a while. I have a short story in an anthology that is being published in January. But the anthology is available. It's half price right now. For only $3 for the Kindle version. It's called Escape with an exclamation point. And the author is listed as the Writing Block Cooperative. Block is BLOC. So if you just go to Amazon and you type in Escape and then Writing Block BLOC, I've got a story in there.
Cool.
And,
Perfect.
All the stories have it's 20 stories. I'm one of the 20, and all of them have some kind of escape theme to them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it'll be available in paperback in January.
Yeah, I was going to say, when does the real book form come out?
Yeah, Sam can't do digital things.
I like real books. Well, they're not real books. I like tangible books.
You're not a real writer, Patrick. You're just a digital writer.
It's true.
I guess that's a wrap on the show.
We do this every 2 weeks.
Yeah. Join us again every 2 weeks for another episode of the show. And boy, I'm running out of movies on my list of bad movies, guys.
I'll say we'll do Atlantic Rim, the same year ripoff of Pacific Rim.
Is that real?
Yes, and I know because it was on a Mystery Science Theater.
It's real?
Yes, it's real.
Yes.
It's so real.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's great.
All right, we'll go with that one because pretty sure I've already done Frankenhooker.
What?
I don't know.
No, you haven't. Well, you ruined that one.
And done.